It's only, you said it 5 times.
Chicago International Film Festival.
You're just happy I'm still alive to do this, right? I am honored to be here, and I don't want to hear my name again. And yes, this is the 50th anniversary of the Chicago International Film Festival. And CIMMfest is coming along very nicely because the city knows you exist, and that's very important. And the mayor knows you exist, and I think it's going to get bigger and bigger. And I would say next spring, you'll be part of the whole deal. Something is going to happen big for you guys, big, big. Now, what am I doing here tonight? I know nothing about music. I can sing "Singing in the Rain," but I've done nothing about music and film. But I have a great honor tonight to introduce someone to you. When I started this festival 50 years ago, the whole purpose was to discover new directors. And we did that, and we still do it. So yes, in '67 was Martin Scorsese. And it went on and on, from Fassbinder and Herzog and Ben Benders and Joe Swanberg here from Chicago. But along the way, we did documentaries too. And we showed the first films of documentarians, and the one you're going to meet tonight, we've shown at least 5 of your films and given a lot of prizes, and we showed your first film. I think that's important because that does start your career. So I want you to meet this award-winning documentarian from Toronto, Canada, Ron Mann, and your first film we showed him back in 1981, and I like it when you say that started your career and you believe we had something to do with that. So I would take the stairs here, Ron. You're going to see this film at 7:30 tonight, somewhere else around here, some art gallery, I believe, Film Society or something. You'll see his first film, which is a remarkable documentary. It is called Imagine the Sound. I have to say something funny because after your first film, then we give prizes, and then another film comes, and whoever did our film handling in those days, they said, we got a new film from Ron Mann. I said, oh God, you might as well get the engravers for the awards out already, because every time we have a new film, we have to give it a prize, because they're always good and getting better. Yeah. Here he is, Ron.
Thank you. So the Chicago International Film Festival changed my life because in 1981 I made a film about jazz musicians. And Chicago was very mythical to me because even though I grew up in Toronto, but I eventually showed a number of films here, and Home Vision was distributed a number of my films, and they were based in Chicago here. So I came back and forth. Anyway, Michael, thank you for that introduction. I'm now introducing Louis Black, who is the recipient of the Baadasssss award. Thanks. And Louis is not here, as you know, and he called me a few weeks ago. This is before he was hospitalized. He's getting better, but he asked me if I would present him this award, and I know from experience that if Louis Black opens a door, you run through it. I've had many opportunities that Louis has presented to me where he's like the Chicago International Film Festival. Louis Black at South by Southwest has changed my life. I met Louis. I was speaking with 2 filmmakers just moments ago. I used to go to the Sundance Film Festival a lot, and one year I submitted a film, and that film was called Grass, which was about marijuana prohibition. and they didn't accept the film, and I was crushed. Later on, I found out why, which is the director of the festival was an anti-drug person. But Lewis Black phoned me, and he said, come to Austin. And I kind of had heard about South by Southwest. It was a music festival. I didn't really think of it as a film festival. But he said, yeah, we're starting this film festival, and Austin's a pot-friendly town. So I went, okay, I'm in. And so I got to Austin, and it was the opening night movie at the Paramount, and the line went right, like right around the corner, and it sold out. And Lewis and I were standing on the corner, and I said, "Yeah, this is definitely a pot-friendly town." And although I have to admit that, and I don't know if I should really tell this story, but like a few years later, Lewis and I were at the opening party for South by Southwest. I've been going consecutively since 2000 for 14 years. And one time we were smoking pot on the balcony of Buffalo Billiards, and somebody came up to us and said, "You guys have to leave." And this is Lewis Black, who is the co-founder of South by Southwest, and we were like out on the street. So that guy wasn't on side. Anyway, I was incredibly, the thing about Lewis Black is you don't, people just call him Lewis. I mean, he's so, and people, he doesn't need a last name. He's just known as Lewis. I want to tell you a little bit about him, and I just wanted to pull out my iPhone. I wrote some notes on my way over here this morning from Toronto, if you can indulge me just a little bit, because I think it's kind of important in case people don't know Lewis. And this is a statement that he said: "The best thing in the world is to share something cool with other people, to drag friends to a band and have them be blown away. I still live for that moment when I hear an album or see something or read something that just blows my mind." I mean, Lewis Black, from his childhood, and I wish I knew him as a kid, it would have been awesome, but he was a guy in New Jersey who, who was a passionate film nerd. He went to see movies. His friend was Leonard Maltin. They went to New York City, and they saw Buster Keaton movies, and they actually met Buster Keaton because they were filming on the streets of New York a movie called Film that Buster Keaton was in. He's someone that has, at 9 years old, I once asked him what his favorite film is, and he said Frank Capra's film Lost Horizon. And that kind of, to me, is a prism in which to look at Lewis's subsequent work. And the other thing about Lewis is that he's a music fan. And as the editor of Chronicle, I urge you to read. He's a fabulous music writer. If you look at the back pages of the Chronicle, which you can read his writings, they're personal. I don't know. When you hear a song and it's meaningful to you, he's able to translate it in words that just kind of. He's one of the great music writers and unacknowledged at that. And he sends me, actually, now and then, old posts, and one of them that I recently read was on Moby Grape, and I really, just his, and Grandmaster Flash, I mean, his tastes are eclectic, and he's not, that's the thing about him, his music range is really wide, because what I think, he's a fan. And the thing about Lewis is he went from a fan to being a founder. And here's some of the accomplishments, if you don't know already. I mean, he's created film societies, specifically, the Austin Film Society, the Chronicle, South by Southwest, Texas Hall of Fame. He's a film producer. He's an actor and slacker. He's the guy, the paranoid, paper reader who says, "Quit following me." But all of this, I wanted to say, doesn't happen in a vacuum. It happens because he's in a city like Austin, but he's also in an incredible community of people who are there. Richard Linkletter and Nick Barbaro, Ronald Swenson. These are people who, kind of joined forces. And there's someone, I think arts need a cheerleader and a promoter and people that connect other people. And that's his art. He may not have had one specific, he may not be able to play a chord of music, but he can, his chord that he does play is heard around the world. He is someone that enables and nurtures people. I just was in Toronto, and there's a filmmaker by the name of Margaret Brown. You played the Townsend Zant film today, and Margaret Brown was at the Toronto International Film Festival in her premiere, and she was like nervous as hell. And Margaret just told me that Lewis spent 2 hours talking her down and just reminded her, why did you make this movie? And just completely grounded her. And so this is the kind of person that Lewis is. He's someone that he's deeply cares. And that's something that is beyond money and beyond, it's about, for Lewis, I think it's really about community. And you mentioned community earlier today, and I think that's what I totally get it now, because that's what South by Southwest is. Lewis said, one evening now this is a little self-aggrandizing, but one evening I ended up in front of the Driscoll with Jim Jarmusch and Ron Mann. We sat there for an hour and a half talking about film. It's the most down conversation you can imagine. It's just film fans that are excited and want to share stuff with each other. Those are the times that really make it for me. Okay, so Lewis empowers. We were standing by in the hall, and Lewis saw somebody walk by, and he says, "We empower." Our slogan at South by Southwest should be, "We're empowering the undeserving." He empowers the deserving and the undeserving, and he transforms that. He transforms people by what he does. Lewis also said, "My advantage was that I couldn't. I have no abilities, and in no way that was a blessing. What made the first 25 years of my life very, very difficult has made the last 2 or 3 decades pretty much fun." It's been fun for him, it's been fun for us, and inspiring. So thanks, Lewis. Keep being a badass.